What's up, family? It's your girl Samantha Lee, and y'all, I am here. Okay, I just went live on my other channel. I'm gonna go ahead and go live on the TikTok, because I'm live on YouTube. What's up, everybody? What's up, y'all? What's going on, y'all? I'm gonna go live here. Hold on. I apologize, y'all. Here we go. So we're live on both. Again, you guys, if you are on the TikTok and you prefer TikTok, your girl's on TikTok as well. Welcome to the show tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. We got Pam back, y'all. Say what's up to Pam. You know, she came back from her cruise and she's graced us with her beautiful presence. So say what's up to our girl Pam. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tonight we're gonna have a great conversation. 5 signs you're blocking your own breakthrough and you don't even know it. And so I really want you guys to lock in on this one, because I want you guys to really hear this out. Okay, I want you guys to hear this out. This is very important. I get a lot of different things, from different people about why does it feel like God is not hearing my prayers? Why does it feel like my prayers are hitting the ceiling and they coming back down to me? Sam, what's going on? Why is this going on? And I want to share some things that I've learned in this time, because family, I have done it wrong. Okay. I'll be the first to tell you guys, if you watch any of my content, you know, I will be the first to tell you that I've done this wrong. Right. I was confronted earlier this year that I was a lukewarm Christian. Right. I was given that understanding. And with that understanding came to my understanding that I needed to do things differently. And one of the first things, probably in March, God showed me was that utilizing my platform for anything but Him was a deception. Anything but Him was a deception. Because if you guys have ever watched my content, maybe I shouldn't do that. If you've ever watched any of my content before, when I started this thing, I did a thing called Miracle Monday. I did that on Instagram, and that was me doing a free-form Bible study where I was learning about the Bible. I was learning about the Bible in real time during a time where everybody was kind of confused. It was the time of, just a lot of confusion with COVID. And so I did a Bible study. Well, I stopped the Bible study. And a lot of the reason why I stopped the Bible study was because I wasn't living right. I wasn't living right. I wasn't in the right headspace. Period. And how can I hear God clearly if I'm not living my life for Him? Right? I can't. I've learned that in this time. If I'm living for the world, if I'm doing worldly things, I can't hear God very well. So it wasn't until earlier this year I started to dream again. And with me dreaming again, God had given me some dreams. And when God gives you dreams or God gives you promises, you have the choice to accept those promises. And He's not going to, first of all, let's be clear. God is never going to show you a promise that you don't want. Okay? Let's start there. God is going to show you something you want. He gonna have you locked in. He gonna have you locked in. He gonna say, oh, I like that. I like that. Yep. God, you know what you're doing. Okay. All right. I like it. And then once you say okay, and you're going to say okay, because He made you, He know what you like. That's why, y'all, you've heard me before say, I'm gonna say it. I don't believe in relationships where God brings you with somebody and you don't think they fine or you don't think they're attractive. I just don't believe that. The God of attraction is not going to present you somebody you're not attracted to. He gonna send you something you like. He gonna every story I've seen God put people together, and like I feel that story. Oh, the guy was looking for the girl. He was like, oh, okay, who that? I saw one story. He's like, oh, she loved the Lord too. Oh, a woman of God who looked like that. Okay, sign me up, God. I'm ready. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But yes, so and on the other side, there's with men, you see women, they be like, oh, it's him? For real? Ooh. Okay. Locked in. What's up? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So anyway, guys, I also saw something today that I thought was really interesting, that God is gonna put somebody in your vicinity. Like, you're not gonna have to be like, he's gonna make sure y'all in proximity. Like, I thought that was really interesting. You know, like he normally brings people into proximity. He brought up the story of Ruth, how Ruth was brought into Boaz's vicinity. So, you know, nowadays we got social media where you brought into people's vicinity. People that may not have been able to see you, right? They're like, I didn't even know this woman existed, but hello. I didn't even know that man, I didn't know he was breathing. I didn't know man like him existed. Be like, hello. Hi, you got my attention. You know, so anyway, I just think it's really interesting how God moves and what God does. Okay. So anyway, that's what I'm sorry. But God is, when we start process, when God gives us a promise, it's not going to be something we don't want. Okay. Because promised land sounded great. That's why the Israelites were like, sign me up, take me to the land flowing with milk and honey. The process is what turned them off to it. And that's what most people have to understand, that when God gives us a promise, you will go through process. I'm living proof of this. Okay. Your girl's gone through process. Y'all hear me? Was it easy? Has it been easy? No. But what I'll say is this. I've never had more peace. And y'all, whenever I feel like I feel a little disconnection from God, because you get more sensitive to it, woo, child. I'm like, I need to find, how do I get back? How do I get back? How do I get back? Because I don't even want to get out of alignment. A lot of that is not me being perfect. It's a lot of repenting. It's a lot of repenting. Like, God, I don't want to do it. 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 I don't even want to be away. I don't even want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. So that is that. I also want to share something, a tidbit that I thought was really, really interesting. I was watching a video about how, you know, when it's God's voice, right? Some people don't know how to discern God's voice from the enemy's voice. And this young lady, she brought up a really good, really great example. I shared this on my YouTube, but I want to share this live with my Facebook family and my TikTok family, because I really want you guys to know that you do hear God's voice. We all do. God's voice don't, some people have heard the audible voice of God. Some people haven't. They haven't, right? I haven't heard the audible voice of God, but what I have heard is a voice. And it sounds like my own thoughts. God's voice sounds like our own thoughts. It doesn't sound like this. Like I said, not many people, I'm not saying it's impossible, but not many people have heard the audible voice of God. The voice of God sounds like your own thoughts. But the content of those thoughts is how you know it's God versus you, right? Let's just give you an example. Let's say you guys are locked in on the journey. You really trying to hear God, right? And let's say Old Faithful, I call them Old Faithfuls, but let's call it a sneaky link to make it relevant to culture. Let's say you say to God, listen, I am locked in, God. I am not talking to this. I am not talking to these women. I am not talking to these men. Whatever that is for you. Me will be men. I'm not talking to these men. Or for you, it might be no women. Absolutely no estrogen is coming my way. I am locked in with you, God. No distractions. I'm all in. And immediately, guess what? Either something happens, or an urge happens, or a person texts, and they happen to be Old Faithful. They happen to be the sneaky link of the season, or the sneaky link of the century, whoever this person may be. That person reaches out to your phone and says, hey, what you doing? What's up? And you're like, oh, Lord. And there's a voice. There's a voice that's like, do it. I mean, just ask God for forgiveness later. I mean, he understands. I mean, he's forgiving, right? He's got all this grace and mercy. Yeah, go. Text him back. You don't want them to go to somebody else. Go. Right? And then you got a voice in your spirit that says, don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it alone. Don't respond. Don't say nothing. No, don't go. You shouldn't go. It's not even gonna keep, it's gonna say you shouldn't go. No, you should. That urging, like, you shouldn't go. It's like, no, you shouldn't go. No, don't go. And people, everybody I've ever spoke to, they know there's two. They call the angel in the whatever, the devil on your shoulder. And that's in some parts it's true, but that's not the angel. That's God's voice telling you, don't go. Don't go. Don't go to the club tonight. No, don't go to the club. Don't drink. No, don't drink. Yeah, don't hit her up. She's not the one. Don't do it. No. You know what? You need to be locked in. You need to be focused on this. We feel those promptings. All of us do, but we don't recognize it as it being God. We always know that there's a voice that's not our own, because if it was us, we want to go, we want to do this, we want to do that. Our flesh wants to do what it wants to do. But we also know that there's another voice that's prompting us to do the right thing. We just don't respond to it, right? We say to ourselves, oh, I don't want to do, you rebel against that voice and you do what you want to do. And we get our results. But we all know that there's a voice that we once heard, or we still hear, that prompts our every decision and tells us it's the voice that you know is telling you the right thing. When you test it against the voice of God, like the promptings, the things that we know God would tell us, right? This again, guys, this is imperative why we have to know the word of God, because you will not know the voice of God if you don't know the word of God. We understand right and wrong, stereotypical Christian things versus not, but it gets a little bit more murky, because sometimes what people say is stereotypical Christian speak and language is not God. It's tradition that we've passed off as Christianity, and it's actually not in the Bible. We can't even find the verse. It's just a tradition. Remember, the Pharisees in the in the New Testament, they followed all these traditions and rituals, a lot of which they could not find in the Bible, right? They just, because it'd been over time, they had just picked up all these things. And so now they were condemning people for things that they were doing that were tradition, but not necessarily biblical, right? So at the end of the day, a lot of us have to understand the Bible and know the Bible for ourselves, because we know, y'all, there are wolves in sheep's clothing. There are people that will deceive. I've told you guys a story where I was deceived. I don't want anyone on the planet to be deceived. I don't. And so that's why I say this. I don't want you guys to be deceived. Know the Bible for yourself so you're not deceived. Oh, yeah. I'll stop there. Okay? So, anyway, let's go further. So, you'll have this prompting as you get closer to God. Let's say you go into the store and there's a voice inside you that says, pay for the woman in front of you. Pay for the woman in front of you. You see her groceries. You see that she's struggling. She has a child. She's really, you see her fuddling through and like saying, you could tell she's struggling. Your spirit's telling you this woman's struggling to pay the bill. And there's a prompting in your spirit that says, pay the bill. Now, you know you don't want to pay the bill. Your instinct is hoard the money. You know the enemy don't want you to pay the bill or front the bill for somebody else. But there's a prompting in your spirit that's prompting, that is saying, be generous. That obviously isn't you, and that's obviously not the enemy. The last thing he wants to do is have you show love to somebody that you don't even know. It's clearly God. And we've all felt this way. We just don't recognize it as it being God. But that's God prompting you. Hey, call your mom. Call her. I've had this, y'all. Literally, I've had this happen multiple times where it's like, hey, call your dad, call your dad, call your mom, call. And you're like, I'm like, why? There's nothing going on. I don't know anything. I don't see it. So nothing's going on. That's obviously not true. Right? So one day, I kid you not, I've been on this journey. I was, y'all, I have so many stories. There's so many supernatural stories. But anyway, I was walking in the park. Y'all know where if anybody's watched me, I go in nature and hear God. You hear God so clearly. You hear that still small voice so clearly. Take your headphones out. Just listen, hear for God. Just sit in. If you can't walk, sit in nature. Just be somewhere by yourself. Take the headphones out and just focus. It is incredible what you can hear. It's incredible what God will show you when you just quiet your mind and really let him speak. So anyway, I'm in there and I'm talking to God, and I hear him say something about my dad. I'm like, I haven't heard from my dad. That's a good point. Okay. Then I go a little bit further. I hear my dad again. Reach out to your dad. I mean, I should. You're right. I haven't talked to him in a while. That's probably true. Yeah. I kid you not. I walk a little bit further because I get lost in another thought. You know, the enemy distracts. I see a man that looks like my father. Kid you not, walking in the park. I have never seen this man in the park. Never. I'm like, he looked just like my dad. That's weird. I haven't seen nobody look like my daddy. Right? So I'm like, I got to reach out to my dad. What happens is, y'all, I sent a text message, but I didn't call him or anything like that. No. You know what? I didn't message him right then and there because I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. But I just marveled at the fact that happened. So later on that day, I text him. It comes back to my mind, my dad, reach out to your dad. I reach out to my dad. He calls me. I said, Dad, you've been on my mind. Like, what's going on? Like, I had like 3 promptings at the park to reach out to you. What's going on? He says, oh, I'm in the hospital. What? He's like, yeah, I checked in this morning. I'm in the hospital. Now, y'all, this has happened 3 times. This has happened more than once. He's like, your spirit told you, huh? Because my dad don't want to tell me what's going on with him. So I'm like, why are you in the hospital? And it was a serious thing. It was a serious situation. My dad did not tell me. If I did not feel the promptings of the spirit, I would not know my father was there. And I would not know to send him a message to let him know at that moment, I love you. You are I love you. I want you to know that you're like Dad, I couldn't have gotten a better dad. I thank God for you. Literally, that's what I wrote. I said, I love you. I want you to know how great of a dad you are. I couldn't have prayed for a better dad. He calls me up and says, I wasn't going to tell you, but yeah, I'm in the hospital. Y'all, Pam knows. There's been times where I will send something to Pam, and Pam in that moment was thinking something about me or something about people, or just feeling unappreciated, feeling like she wasn't being seen. And in that moment, money comes through, and she's like, "Oh, she does see me." I literally I had these things that in my house, and something tells me I go out. Me and my homegirl, we're going out, and I give it to her. I'm like, "Hey, do you need this? Like, I feel prompted to give this to you." She says to me, "Why did you give me this?" I said, I don't know. I feel like God just told me to give it to you. I don't know. And she's like, I just told God that I want to start putting some of my stuff in a different bin or container. It was like it was like a jewelry box I had. But I was like, she's like, I want to put a different one for my mom because I have her jewelry and I wanted to like separate it. And I was like, God, I need to get another box I need to get another box to be able to house these items. I want to be able to separate it for my kids just in case anything was to happen. She's like, I just had that conversation with God. She's like, Sam, you need to stop doing this. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, bro. I have no idea what's happening. I just know. I don't know. And sometimes with Pam, I will say something to Pam. It is odd. She's like, I feel like Sam is in my thoughts. I literally don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'll say something to Pam. I'll call her. I'll be like, hey, you need to go do this. She's like, I was just thinking that. I said, you need to go ahead and do that. I was just thinking that. I'll send her again. Now I could see if it was once or twice. Y'all, it's probably been like, I don't know, Pam. How many times has it been? Like 10 times? I don't know. And so again, I say all that to say, y'all, when you get closer to God, there's just promptings. Like I've given to people. I gave to somebody one time. They had just talking to their parent, and there was a sacrifice that they were giving. Oh, y'all, this is gonna make me emotional. A sacrifice they were giving, and I gave it probably at least 15. and she was giving. Pam says, for those who are on the TikTok, she says God is on my behind, and then Sam says the same thing. God had been pressing probably at least 15 times. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. So anyway, and y'all, this is not because, I really don't. It's not. This wasn't happening before this time. This wasn't happening before. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's because I was locked in. It's because at this point I'm locked into God. I'm plugged in, and so that's where I'm at. I'm just plugged. I'm like, and I don't feel like I know everything. I hold myself accountable. I have a spiritual mentor. I hold myself accountable to people. I don't feel like I know everything. So like when I do these promptings, I check in with my spirit to make sure I'm hearing God. Because sometimes people begin irresponsible. They think everything they thought is God, and it's not, right? So anyway, I felt prompted to give a woman an amount of money. Remember, y'all, the kingdom, and I'm gonna shut up and move on to our more of our topic. In the kingdom, generosity is a weapon. When you feel prompted to give. All right, generosity is a weapon in the kingdom. It sets you free from the things that people on earth are imprisoned by, which is money. They will do anything for money, for a dollar. And so when you are able to give, you are first of all kicking the enemy in his teeth, but number two, you're showing God, I trust you. That even if it doesn't make sense to me right now, I trust you. So know that generosity is a weapon. It is your weapon. Use it. Do not be afraid to use it. God did not give you money for you to hoard it. I'm learning that. I'm literally learning it on the job. This is not coming from a place where there's been times where I have made money, and all the money I've made, I've given it away. All the money I made, I give it away. I've done it. I'm not telling you anything God hasn't dealt with me. But then guess what? God gives me double, triple fold. He'll answer prayers I haven't answered before. He's like, oh, I can trust you. I can trust you. I can trust you. Oh, I can trust you. And so he's opened up doors for me in other ways. So I'm not saying this for something that like I don't do. But anyway, in this situation, I was told to give. Now this amount was a different kind of amount. This is a different kind of amount. Right? And so God had told me for this person to send this. She calls me. She, are you sure? Are you sure? And I said, yeah. She says to me, you don't even realize, but I was just on the phone with my mom and I gave her an amount. And my mom said, may God send you 10 times this amount. The next day, 24 hours later, 10 times that amount was sent. And I was battling with God about that. And I was like, this amount? And God's like, yes, I sent it. She called me crying. Because this was not somebody who was locked in their faith. This is somebody that was just seeking God for herself. She's like, wow, God is real. I heard another story recently where somebody was talking to someone who's a non-believer, doesn't believe. And this guy was challenging their faith. And he says to this person, then try God. Pray for the next 3 nights. God, whichever God you believe is God, show me something so that I know it's you. Should do something in my life so I know it's you. So I know it's you. So I know that there's this God. This guy keeps saying there's a God. I don't believe it. But if you are real, show me something that I know it's you. Well, that woman was working. And in order for her, to do sales, she had to do $300,000 worth of sales. $300,000 worth of sales. And at that time, she had only had $50,000 worth in sales. It was the last day. She had to get $300,000. She was $250,000 below her limit. Okay, so y'all understand? She needed $250,000 to make the limit, what they're supposed to make for the job. That's the amount of sales she's supposed to do. She's asking God, hey, listen, show me. She's not asking for that specifically. She said, just show me something to make me believe it. This guy's saying God real. I don't believe God real. Show me something. The next morning she wakes up. She went to bed and she was at 50,000. She was preparing for, just to be under that month, to be in the red that month, to be on the list that month. The next morning she wake up. Guess how much was in her account? Guess how much sales it said on the sheet? Guess what it said? 300,000. So overnight, while she was sleeping, somehow, some way, she did in one night what she couldn't do in a whole month. And she wasn't even awake. She's like, wait, hold up. Calls, crying. Oh my goodness, God is real. God is real. He's real. I can't. Starts going to church, starts fasting, starts praying, starts getting locked in, has gotten her friends locked in as well. I'm telling you that there is a God. There is a God. And in my own life, I've seen God move and he's worked. And now at this point, I know things I shouldn't know about people. There's things that God is trusting me with, visions he's seen. I'm showing you that, I'm telling you God is real. I've seen it in my own life. And so anyway, the reason why we're doing the lives tonight is the five reasons why you are blocking your own breakthrough. And I want to share this because listen, y'all, I'm telling y'all, a lot of people call me, right? Or they say things to me like, oh, well, I prayed for this and God didn't show up. I prayed for this and God didn't do it, right? I prayed for this, I prayed for that. Thank you, Tommy. I don't know which one you on, but thank you, Tommy. So, here we go. 5 signs. All right. So one of the signs that you are, that is delaying your breakthrough, that's delaying your ability to hear God, and y'all, I'm being honest with you guys, I am guilty of this. I've been guilty of this. You're holding on to something God told you to let go of. Family, one of the biggest ways to get in the way of your promised land is holding on to something God told you to let go of. Whether it be the relationship, whether it be the behavior, whether it be the drug, whether it be the family member, whether it be the friendship, whether it be a place that you attend, it is something that God is calling you to let go of, and you do not let go of it. Some of us want, hey, God's been telling you, listen, the relationship you're in is not of God. This is not godly. This ain't got nothing to do with God. And you refuse to leave it, but yet you still want me to move in your life. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Because you don't trust me enough to let this go. So if you don't trust me enough to let go, and our relationship is contingent upon faith, then I can't move the way you want me to move. I can't do what you want me to do. Because it's one thing, family, to say you have faith. It's another thing to walk in faith. Those are two completely different things. And walking in faith is uncomfortable. Walking in faith is letting go of one thing without knowing where the next is coming from. Walking in faith is saying, I'm going to give the money and I don't know how I'm going to get it back. But I know God is good and I know God is sovereign and I know he meets needs. I know what he can do. So because I trust him and I have faith in him, I'm going to let go of this. But because I trust him for that. Right? So your relationship with God is on faith, and it's not about this outward expression. I got faith. I love the Lord. Nothing about your walk looks like you walk with God. And listen, y'all, I was guilty of that. Come on. Let's be real. I was confronted with that. Sam, you out here, you saying you love God, but you trying to glorify you on this platform. You out here, I got the hair post, which, listen, I like the hair post and I like the peptide post, but that wasn't glorifying God. That was glorifying me. I had to let it go. Like, God let me know your husband don't want none of that showing. the man I have for you, oh, he want all that to himself. Mm-hmm. He don't want an Instagram model. No, he don't. What he want is a woman that's covered. She fine. Y'all know she fine, but she ain't showing. The man, listen, the man God had for me is protective. I call it protective. Some people call it possessive. I call it protective. I like that. Okay. So I said, God, look, okay. I like my man like that. I like that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna cover up. I understand. God was like, before I send you a man, my son, I'm gonna clean you up a little bit. Yeah, because he don't like that. He see that, but he don't like that. You fine and all, but he don't do that. And so I know whoever my husband is, God saying you don't play that. You don't play that. That's not a game you play. You don't play that game. No, you don't play that game. You play okay, that's my secret. Like, what's that song? That's my little secret. Next time used to keep it. Whatever. So I said, okay. All right, God. I don't know. He's not here, but I'll do it. So yes, y'all, God told me, listen, clean it up. Clean it up, Sam. And that's what Sam did. Sam cleaned it up. Because God said my husband don't play that. I like it. Oh yeah, God. Some women, they act like they don't want their man to be like that. I like all that. I was like, you know me, God. I can receive that. I can receive it. My man is possessive. I like it. Yeah, I like that. But again, right? I'm joking, y'all. I'm saying all these things. I'm joking. But again, it's steps of obedience. If I was gonna be like, no, well, I don't have him now. Like, why would I do that for him now? Like, I'm just, I'm free until he here and blah 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 blah. God's like, no, shut it down. I don't want you talking to these guys ain't the one. No, shut it down. Shut this down. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Stop posting these pictures for fitness. You're not no fitness influencer. You're a God influencer. Stop doing these pictures for hair. You ain't no hair influencer. You a God influencer. Get it together. Yes, you look the way you do, but you don't do it. That's not for you. That's for me. And eventually, it's going to be for me and the man I send you. Right? But we as women, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. That's not gratifying to the flesh, because we want the affirmation that people give. And I understand that. I feel that, because guess what? The man that's The man isn't here. The man ain't here. So God is asking me to sacrifice something that does immediately, come on, let's be real, gratify my flesh. But he said, do it for right now, before anybody else is in my life. God is my first husband. God is, he is, I am the bride of Christ, right? That's what it says in the Bible. So if my husband, he's like, listen, I'm testing you. Will you do it for me? Because if you won't do it for me, you won't do it for him. I know for certain if you don't do it for me, you won't do it for him. I need you to get used to getting your validation from you, not people, not Instagram followers, not social media. I need you to get used to getting it from me. I say you're good enough. I say you're fearfully and wonderfully made. I say that you're beautiful. I say that you're intelligent. I say those things. So you get that from me, because people go up and they go down. People's opinions about you waver. I know that. But I have had to learn in this process that the only way that I'm able to really receive from God the way that I am supposed to is that even though it doesn't make sense, right? Because I don't have the man right now. Doesn't make sense for me to stop this and stop that and do this and do that. Or for me to present myself in a certain way, or to do certain things, or to conduct myself in certain ways. It doesn't make sense, but guess what? That's what God is calling me to do, so I'm going to do it. Because one thing I will not do is stop my promised land like I've done in the past. Delay my wilderness. I'm not doing it. I don't care. I don't know what I'm not delaying my wilderness. So God says, give it, I give it. So God says, go left, I go left. Y'all seen that with my content. I was doing primarily relationship content. Now I'm doing primarily, if I do relationship content, it has a God focus to it. God told me, change the direction of your content. You're not an influencer. You're not a relationship influencer. You're here because I put you here. I put that fire in your belly. I gave you that voice. I made you, I created you this way. When you're using it for any other thing but what I've given it to you, it's out of alignment. You're right. I give it up, God. I'm sorry. I lost sight. Now I have vision. Right? I have vision. And there's nothing that I'm going to do to stop or get in the way of my vision. So 5 reasons. Number 1 reason is you're not doing what God called you to do. You're not letting go of what God called you to let go of, y'all. And like I said, letting go of certain things won't make sense. It will be uncomfortable, but it will be worth it. The relationship that I have with God now, the things that I've seen God do for me, y'all, I can't even. Pam knows I can't even explain. I can't even explain. Because of that relationship with him, that connection with him, I don't want to get out of alignment. I shared with you guys on another video, a podcast where I shared, like, listen, you know, I my abstinence journey, right? I've been abstinent for years. I've said this before. I wasn't really public about it. I'll be honest with you, because I didn't know if I wanted to, I didn't know if I wanted to be abstinent until marriage. I didn't know. Right? I was like, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know. And I had a conviction in this time, like, no, it's till marriage. That's what I said. I'm like, oh, I mean, like, I've already waited years. does that give, like, can I get, like, some women don't wait that long. Like, it's like, no, I said till marriage. And if it's a man that I sent, he gonna understand that. If it's a man that I sent, he gonna be disciplined enough to know, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I already expected that from you, because I know you're a woman of God. I was like, all right. And God even told me this, y'all. He went a step further. He's so froggy. He said this. He's like, he's going to actually appreciate the fact that you wasn't sleeping around like that. That you ain't got a sneaky link. That you wasn't doing all that. He's actually going to love that about you. That it wasn't, you wasn't passed around to the, you know. He gonna appreciate that. I'm like, I'm glad he's gonna appreciate it, but I'm gonna need him to hurry up. But yes, he said a man of God is going to appreciate the fact that you've been disciplined, that you haven't been giving it to people, that you've committed this. And again, y'all, I was like, I want like, oh, to marriage, I don't know. That's why I wasn't public about it like that. I'll be honest with you. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Struggle with that. But God in this time has said, nah, to marriage is what I said. That's for your husband. That's not for, no other man should be riding that ride but your husband. I hate to say it like that. You know, I'm country. That's for him. That's exclusive. That's reserved. That's, he don't want, you know. I'm like, okay, God. Okay. All right. I don't know, because these guys, I don't know if they're going to appreciate it. Y'all, let me tell y'all, women that are watching me, I haven't met a man that doesn't appreciate the fact that I've been abstinent. I have not met a man that's like, oh, what? Wow, that's crazy. I've not met that. Most men I've ever met, it's like, oh, so you, oh. And I'm not saying these are men that I'm like, you know, some men have said that they're you know, they're looking for wives or stuff like that. But they, like, regardless if they're looking for a wife or not, they respect it. They respect it. They do. Like, they could be like, you know what? I love that for you. I love that for you. That's amazing for you. That's great for you. Way to have that self-control. We don't see a lot of women doing that. That's amazing. Okay. I love that for you. Keep going. But then there's men that are like, you know what? But you know, some women say that, but I actually believe you. A lot of women say it, but we don't believe them. I believe you though. Like, because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? But like, because we don't draw our line in the sand, you know? So anyway, again, we have to be willing to let go of things. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to us because we don't see around the corner. All we see is to the corner. God sees around the corner. And so God has called me to do certain things. And Wolves Talk Money, he made a really good point. I respect it if it's true. I think most men, ladies, if you're watching, I advocate for women to exercise sexual discipline. Why? Because listen, I wasn't doing it like that because I knew I was crazy. Y'all, I knew I was crazy. I'm like, listen, I don't want to sleep with nobody and go crazy. And it's not fun for either one of us. If I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and you're not ready to settle down, this is not going to be good for both of us. So I was doing it more for mental health reasons at the time, right? But as I've got closer in this journey with God, I feel like God was just preparing me, like, you know, just letting me, you know, like this is a time for consecration. This is a time for your temple. This is a time for you to really lock in with me and have this purity, because purity does allow us to hear God clearly. So we're going to keep moving forward, right? Yes. Sign number 2 is that you keep delaying obedience. This is into number 1. One is like you're refusing to let go. Y'all, God is not going, again, sign number 1, pivotal. God cannot move the way you want him to move if you're unwilling to let go. If he's been talking about letting go of a relationship, if you know you're in a relationship that isn't of God, we don't have to have, you know, Blue's Clues to figure out whether you're in something that you know God is in or not. We don't have to do that. There are things we know that God is saying and not saying. We know that. Let's not play these games. You know when you're in something that is of God and when it's not. If you're in a relationship and y'all just been sleeping together, and this has been this, all this other stuff. We know what is and what isn't. I don't have to go through that. I don't even want to go through that. But if God is calling you to let go of something, let go of it. Please hear me out, family. I just let go of a situation literally last week. I let go of a situation, not romantic, but a situation last week. I was taking steps back, and the situation kind of ended. I was like, God, if this is not of you, I literally prayed the prayer like, God, is not of you. Let this happen or let that happen. Well, one of the two things definitely happened. And I had a dream that showed me that there was more going on behind the scenes than I even knew. Then I got two prophetic words after that confirmed what God had shown me in the dream. That there was more going on that I knew. And I'm over here trying and fighting to hold on to this and be loyal to something that wasn't being loyal to me. Right. And I'm, again, it's not romantic, but it's another situation I was in. Right. So I understood that, like, God was like, no, I'm protecting you. Like, you over here fighting me, and I've got your back. You fighting to stay in this, and I've got your back. You're fighting to stay in situations, and I keep showing you it's not it. But you keep fighting to stay, and you don't even know what you're trying to stay in. You don't even know what you're trying to stay connected to. I didn't realize that person was putting curses on me or word curses on me. I didn't even know. I had no idea. I had no idea. This person might have been was saying certain things about me or doing certain things behind my back. I had no idea. So I'm over here fighting to try to stay, connected and whatever. And it's not. And now I know, because what God has revealed to me after I was obedient, why I needed to let go. He first asked me to make an action. I did the action. Guess what happened after that? Enlightenment. I now see why. Right? But I didn't know at the time. He just told me to let go. We don't understand why God asks us to let things go. If he's asking you to let something go, let it go. The next thing is delayed obedience. So it plays into number one. If being obedient. When God is sometimes, all the time, he is going to push you out of your comfort zone, right? He's going to tell you to do something at times you don't want to do. You have peace about it, but maybe it goes against every rule you've ever created for yourself, right? Let's say God says, let's say, man, God has shown you who your wife is. Let's just say that you have an inclination. God has shown you who your wife is. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I know it's her, but what you want me to do with that? And God's like, text her now. Oh, no. Oh, no. God, that ain't even my feng shui. Like, I don't even be texting women like that. Like, I don't even be, no, bro. Like, that's, God, you know me. I don't do that. Like, that's just not even, bro. It's not even me. Like, I'm just not. No, he's like, no, I need you to do that now. I need you to text her and say this. Whoa. Foul on the play. Absolutely not. That's vulnerable. And your boy don't like being vulnerable. Not again. Not again. My heart has been broken. I absolutely will not do that again. And God's like, no, that's your wife. The one you was messing with was the woman you chose for you. This is the one I'm choosing for you. And I'm asking you, I'm calling you out of your comfort zone. Say it. All right. So again, he gonna keep prompting you. I actually saw a story, y'all, where a man, like, he couldn't even sleep. I mean, his body was like, he said he had a pain in his stomach. He couldn't even stop moving. Like, he couldn't even lay down. He was like, oh. And the only time God released him was when he did what God told him to do. When you delay obedience, family, you basically say to the supernatural, don't show up. When you delay obedience, you're saying, God, I don't really want the promised land like that. When you delay obedience, you basically stop your process. You say to God, I want what you want, but I'm cool here. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't met one person that is cool there. Everybody wants more. Everybody wants the promise. Right? So again, you don't want to stay right there. Be obedient. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. You have no idea. You might send that message to that girl and she's like, oh, and God had already had her on her mind, right? I just saw a story like this. And he reaches out and God had already talked to her for 3 weeks prior to him sending the message. So he's over here overthinking the message while she had already God had already seen and talked to her and said, listen, this is your, and he had put, just like he had put him on her mind. Him on her on his mind. He had put him on her mind. So he's over here overthinking the first step when he had already told her that's the one. So when he did reach out to her, she was like, God had already told me, because God was playing matchmaker. And when you delay, because you're going to be obedient, right? We know that God is going to make you going to be obedient one way or another, whether you are forced into obedience or obedience will happen by you choosing it, which I suggest. Choose obedience, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Do it. God's never going to send you into something that he doesn't have provision for you in. He's with you in every step. Be obedient, okay? So don't delay obedience, because when you delay obedience, you delay everything you're praying for. Every promised land you're trying to get to, you're delayed because you're delayed. You delayed. You said, I don't want to do it. I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't want to let go of this relationship. I don't want to leave this job. I don't see the other side. So because I don't see the other side, I'm not willing to let go of what I have. So like the sign or the show of the gift where this, I'm going to show you this. This little girl was holding on to this little pillow for dear life because she was like, I don't want to let go of my pillow. And God behind his back had this big old pillow. And you over here holding for dear life. Okay, come on, camera. Come with me, camera. You hold on for dear life. You holding on to this, and God's got this. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose. I don't see anything. I don't see anything to give Sarah. I don't know. I just don't know. And God's like, I got this whole pillow behind me, and you're unwilling to let go of this. Right? Okay? So don't delay obedience. Be bold, be courageous. The Bible says, literally defines manhood. A man, it says, act like a man, be courageous. Courageous is acting in spite of fear. God defines manhood by courageousness. That's why David was courageous. Joshua was courageous. Moses was courageous. Gideon was called to be courageous. Abraham was called to be courageous. Jacob was called to be courageous. Isaac was called to be courageous. Jeremiah was called to be courageous. Daniel was called to be courageous. The 3 Hebrew boys, courageous. The disciples, courageous. Peter, even though he denied God, he was called in that moment to be what? Courageous. It is about, he defines manhood as be courageous, be bold in it. If I'm telling you to do something, do it. I'm not asking you about your ego. I'm not asking you about your pride. I'm telling you to do it. Be courageous. Thank you, MJ. She said ministry is on fire. Sands coming back to Pastor Darius Daniels part 2. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, MGH. And thank you for your support always. Thank you, Tommy, for your support as well. Thank you guys for going on the Cash App. Thank you guys for supporting me. Number 3 is a sign that you are delaying your promised land, your breakthrough, is that you're harboring bitterness, pride, or unforgiveness. Y'all, this is a big one. This is a big one. God cannot bring you into next when you're holding on to unforgiveness. God cannot bring you into your next when you feel like you're too good to do certain things. God can't do it. There's nothing he can do with that. Pride is one of the most serious sins in the Bible. Why? Because the enemy, Satan, the sin he had was pride. He wanted to be worshiped, right? He wanted to be on the same level as God. Pride is the biggest the biggest problem God has with people is pride. When you got pride, you think you're too good. I don't do that. I don't walk in here. I don't. That is like a slap in God's face. He's like, what? Where's your humility? It's Satan's sin, pride. But yet it's one of the biggest problems we got. Listen, y'all, in this process, listen, let me keep it real. Let me keep it real with y'all. I struggle with pride. And pride is really when you're uncertain about your identity or you've been hurt before. Really, that's what it came down for me. There was just certain things I wouldn't do, and it wasn't because I felt like I was too good. It was because I was afraid of getting hurt again. So I put on this mask with pride and ego and puffed it up and said, I'll never do this. I'm not going to text nobody. They got to text me. They got to do this. I do all that stuff, all the big bad wolf talk, right? And I got away with it for a while until God said, no, ma'am. That's not wife behavior. That's high school girlfriend behavior. You a grown woman with a child. What you doing? You a grown woman with a child. What you doing? That's high school girlfriend. That's like 8th grade, 9th grade. I'm not going to text you because you didn't text. No. A wife is going to text regardless. A wife is going to put her ego to the daggone side. A wife is going to be there for her man even when he's not, doesn't have the ability to be there for her. A wife is a helpmate. That's what wives do. We out here trying to be girlfriends and boast about being girlfriends. Where the ring at? You ain't no wife. I'm gonna put a ring on somebody who walks in pride and ego. Well, I ain't gonna do that because you didn't do this. Tit for tat is one of the biggest reasons why relationships fall apart. Because I gotta love you well, regardless if you loving me well, and you gotta love me well even when I'm not acting right. And God's like, I chose to love you when you wasn't acting right. So how dare you go to another mere mortal and say you're better than that? You're not better than that. You've had grace and you've had favor. Don't get it twisted. He had to check me about my little pride, my little pretty girl things that I have collected all along this journey called life that were fake, phony. No, you will want I created you to be somebody helpmate, help. All you doing is causing chaos and confusion. I called you to help. All you doing is making this man's life harder. I called you to help. All you doing is deciding to say things and create rules and do all this stuff that I ain't called you to do. I called you to help. That's what bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh is. I called you to help. I called you to create an atmosphere of peace. I called you to help. Now there's rules for men too. Let's be real. I'm only speaking about what God said to me. I called you to help. And you ain't helping. Creating all these daggone rules. Who told you that? Culture? Where has culture gotten you? I was like, all right, God, you right. Nowhere. You right. He said to me, Sam, if you're going to play by my rules, Sam, you got to do it my way. I said, okay, God. You're right. I've been wrong. I've done it my own way. I'm not willing to do that again. So again, operating in harboring bitterness, pride, we have to forgive, family. We can't move into the next still mad about the last. We just can't. We can't even fully appreciate somebody else if we're still mad about who left us or who we left or what happened. We can't even see a person clearly. God has to restore our vision, and that's through the process of forgiveness. Right? We that's why that's a problem why we run into the next relationship so quickly. It's like you haven't even taken the process. You haven't even done no process. You think you're gonna choose clearly when you haven't gone through process? No. Your vision's blurry, baby. You haven't healed. And the fact that you can't sit by yourself is an indication that you absolutely need to sit by yourself. That is, do not pass go, do not collect $200. You need to sit by yourself. Right? I don't know why this. So again, harboring pride, unforgiveness, bitterness. When you're holding on to those things, you can't hear God. You can't hear God. Number 4, you're operating in fear instead of faith. Y'all, fear is the opposite of faith. So if you're operating in a state of fear, oh, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? Because the enemy's going to do it, y'all. And how do I know? Once again, he has attacked me in the area of fear. I mean, literally, just kick me in the face with it, okay? He's done it over and over again, and it's basically because the kingdom of God is unseen. Largely, mostly is unseen. Right? Then you start seeing things pop to the surface, but it's almost like you plant a seed in the ground and you're watering it, and one day it's going to become a plant. You just don't know when it's going to pop the surface of the soil. You've been watering this plant, but you don't know when it's going to get its rooting and all its footing, and it's going to rise to the surface. It's almost like pregnancy. There's a seed that's planted inside of you. And you know there's a seed there, but it's only at a certain point where that seed starts to show, and that stomach starts to grow. Right? All of us are pregnant with a promise. All of us have seed in the ground. But when we're pregnant and we don't take the proper precautions, we need to eat certain things, not eat certain things, not do certain things, right? We can destroy the seed. One of the most sensitive times of pregnancy is the first 6 weeks. It's the first 6 weeks. There's a lot that can happen in that first 6 weeks. There's a lot that can happen in conception. There's a lot that can happen, right? So when we take fear, that means we're not watering the plant no more. Fear is literally killing the seed. The kingdom of God is operated by faith and faith alone. So when we move in fear and we're saying, oh, I'm scared, I don't know, I'm scared, I don't want to leave the job, I want to leave a relationship, I don't know what's going to happen next. What happens if this is? What happens if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this? What if that? What if this? What if all you talk about is what if, you're not hearing God. There's no way you can, because he operates by faith. Well, if you do this and if you do that, what if this happens and this happens and then this happens and what happens? I listen to talk to people where we used to call it. I used to work in a shelter, and we would call it the what if, the buts or the what ifs. It'd be people that we'd be on the phone with, and we couldn't engage in the buts or the what ifs. But if this, but if that, what if this, what if that? We knew that means that person wasn't going to leave. We just knew. They were calling us. They wanted to escape the situation that they were in, whether they were being trafficked or whether they were domestic violence victims. My job was to get them from where they were to where I am. And they would just sit on the phone for hours and say, what if? And we had at some point had to end the call Because if you're in what if, it's nothing I can do. Most people, family, that have taken huge swings in life have had to move in faith. But this time, they're not betting on themselves, they're betting into God. You're betting on God. You're trusting in a Savior. And when we say we trust God, that's where the rubber meets the road. Do you? Do you really trust God? Because now I'm calling you to move in trust and you don't want to do it. Now I'm calling you to move in trust and you struggling. I'm calling you to do these things and you fighting me on every step. So you really don't trust me. Stop saying you do. Stop saying you trust me when you don't move in the trust that you say that you have. Because it's really not about what you say. We know that in relationships, you can say anything. You can say to somebody, I love you. But if they don't act like they love you, do they love you? If you telling me you love me, but you punching me in the face every day, that don't feel good, does it? That don't tell me you love me. You tell me you love me, but you disrespect me. You tell me you love me, but you spit on me. You tell me you love me, but you do that. That's going to make me feel like you don't really love me. Your actions are making me feel like you don't love me. And that's what God is saying. Okay, I hear you. You saying you trust me. You say you have faith. You say you Christian. You say you walking this walk. But are you? Your words don't mean nothing to me. Are you going to move? It's the difference between real Christians and people that just say they Christians. Their life will show the fruit of a faith walk with God. Because when you start believing in something and you start believing in something God has promised you, y'all, I tell you what, he's going to ask you to do some crazy things. And when you start doing those crazy things, everybody around you like, girl, you good? And I'm like, you a Christian too, ain't you? This doesn't look normal to you? Walking in this type of faith? Well, I mean, you don't have no other option. That's what faith is, beloved. Is moving without knowing. It's trusting that the promptings that God has given me, and he's confirmed to me over and over again in multiple ways, whether it be dreams, other people, his own word, things that he highlights to me, just over and over again, just confirming. This is what faith walk looks like. It don't have to make sense to you, and it don't have to make sense to me. It's got to make sense to God. That's what this faith walk is, family. That's what this faith walk is. And fear is the opposite of faith. Fear is actually in the opposite outcome. Fear is like, oh, this isn't going to work out. Faith is saying it's going to work out. Fear is saying you'll never get there. Faith is saying you will. Fear is saying you're going to keep doing this and nothing's going to happen. Faith is saying you're going to do this and something's going to happen. Fear is saying God ain't going to show up. Faith is saying God is going to show up. It's the opposite. And I'm encouraging you tonight, walk out on faith, not the faith on what you think you can do in your own strength. The God dream is never something that you can do without God. We limit God by what we can do, what we're capable of. God is bigger than that. Faith is different. Faith is different, family. Faith is different. So operating in fear instead of faith unlocks what fear delays. Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it is impossible. It is impossible. It is impossible to please God. For example, you won't apply, launch, speak, or move until you feel ready. You feel ready. God's like, so you're in agreement with the promise, but you don't feel ready? Okay. And sometimes, y'all, and I know people don't like this, But sometimes when you're chosen and you're called, whether you like it or not, you're now in a process. And number 5, last but not least, I'm sorry I kept y'all long. Sign 5 is you're fighting in the natural what's meant to be one in the spirit. Some breakthroughs require a spiritual strategy because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. You're exhausted from trying to force it, but have you fasted? Have you worshiped? Some of us are trying to fight spiritual battles because we fight spiritual battles. We have a real enemy in the spirit. If you don't believe that there's an undeniable evil, just turn on the news. You don't have people children or high schoolers really, opening fire in an elementary school because something in their spirit told them to do it or they heard a voice. You don't think that there's an unexplainable evil? When a high school student can open fire on some students he don't know? Somebody can open fire in a prayer meeting? Take people's lives that they don't even know? You don't think there's an unexplainable evil when people can use the Bible to oppress, suppress, and take the lives of, at times, millions? You don't think there's an unexplainable evil? Look at the news. We have a real enemy. Look at culture. We have a real enemy. And he wants nothing but for our demise. That's what he wants. And because culture is so normal to us, we see it every day on social media, we think, or we are deceived, that it means nothing. That is, oh, everybody does it. Everybody ain't getting into heaven. Everybody don't have a relationship with God. In fact, most don't. They have a relationship with religion, not God. They have a relationship with saying somebody, oh, I love God. But I was watching somebody do a video about God. And in the video about God, certain things were said. And I'm like, that doesn't align with the fruit of God. Walking in pride is not the fruit of God. That's the fruit of Satan. And people say, well, they gonna be real mad and they gonna do this and because you that one and blah, blah, blah. That's the enemy. That's the fruit of pride. That's pride. You're feeding pride to people, walking with their head up high like they better than people. No, you're not. We all serve the same God. The only thing that should ever be elevated is him. I feel strongly about that, family. That's why when I do content, I'm not telling y'all, oh, I'm better. I do content and say, I've been there. I've done that. I know. I still struggle with that. Right? Because I know I'm only one decision from being in your shoes. One decision. So it's very important that when we're understanding this situation, we do not war against flesh and blood. A lot of us are fighting things in our own strength. We need to figure this out, figure that out, do this, do that. We grit, we grind, we fight in our own strength and ask God to finish it up. Like we're defending ourselves, doing all these things that God has called us to trust him for. And we're tired. We're exhausted at our own strength because we're overthinking. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to do this. I'm guilty of this, family. I'm not saying this because I'm better than overthinking. What am I going to do? What if we're just running this hamster wheel, just running like this, just going and going and going. And God says, I just need you to trust me. I didn't ask for you to figure it out. I didn't ask for you to fight the battle. I only asked you to focus on what I told you to do. Do that well and trust me for the rest. And so a lot of times, family, one of the biggest things we have to do when we're facing this is understand that, like I said, You over here trying to overthink it, find the answer, fight it in your own strength. I heard a story, and I'll conclude with this. There was somebody I know that they were at this service, this spiritual service, and somebody that was struggling with demonic oppression came to the front, or what the demonic was manifesting in this person. They come to the front, and what happens is one of the people that come at the woman, the woman that was struggling with the demonic oppression, that woman, although it was a very small woman, she was able to fight and push that person across, like it was like otherworldly how far that woman was able to take a grown man off his feet. And in that, this person was like the only person that was able to really get rid of the spirit was the person who believed. So the person that got up to try to restrain the woman was trying to fight a spiritual battle physically, trying to grab her up and stop her, the whatever was happening within her body with the demonic oppression. He was trying to stop her physically. You ain't got the power to stop that physically. You got to go spiritual. Right? And so that's what happened. Somebody who actually has the spirit of God was able to cast it out. A lot of us say that we believe in God. We have faith in God. But in that situation, you see two different people. One person who was trying to fight it in their flesh, who that person, when they were speaking in saying verses and trying to stop this woman from whatever she was doing, I'm not going to get into that here. He had no power against the demonic because he didn't really have faith in what he said he had faith in. He's trying to do it in his own strength. And somebody that's there, just because they have faith in the name of Jesus, they were able to cast it out. Just like God knows the difference between faith, real faith, and just spoken word. Because family, if we don't realize how deep spiritual goes, some of us have spirits dwelling within us because we're living in certain, all the enemy needs is an opening, whether it's unforgiveness, whether it's, pride, whether it's, certain sexual sin you're in, whatever. All he needs is an opening. All he needs is an opening, and you can have this happening, right? That's why they say Christian people need to go to deliverances. They need to get themselves, they need to have clarity, because wherever there's an opening, the enemy can get in. It's real. Look it up. That's why you see people, they go to these deliverances. They love God. They say they have faith in God, but somehow they found demonic oppression. Why? Because there was an area in their life they had unconfessed sin. And therefore, they left an opening for the enemy. All right? It's very real. It's very important. And we have to understand that some of this battle that we're fighting, even as it relates to ourselves, is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. And when we try so hard and we try to figure it out and we try to mentally go all through the Rolodex, we realize very quickly that we're fighting a spiritual battle. And our physical things may be able to stop it for a moment, but there are just some fights you can't win. You can't. You need an all-knowing, all-powerful Savior. And we need to be obedient to that. We need to be obedient to that voice. And we will win. We will win. We will be victorious. Listening to the right voice. Because you can't get you out of this. And you just praying but doing your own thing, praying but not being obedient, praying but you're walking in pride, unforgiveness, or walking in fear, you're literally taking yourself off your path. You're in your own way. And therefore, you're delaying your breakthrough by every step of disobedience you choose. Okay? I want you guys to reach promised land. I want you guys to reach promised land. Stephanie 04, I can't say her last name. So I posted Stephanie's 04 stuff. I don't know how to say her last name. She has a whole series on spirits, and whether you're dealing with a spirit or whether you're dealing with temptation, whether you need something casted out, whether you need something that is something you just got to say a prayer. There's differences. There's levels to this thing. Some of us don't realize we're not just dealing with a bad behavior. We're not just dealing with a choice. We're dealing with a spirit that has been there since it had an opening. There might be an area where you're resistant to let go. There's an area that you're unwilling to, you're struggling with. It just comes up like naturally. You just naturally have these things that happen. Like you can't stop you as a sign of a spirit. It's not just a temptation anymore. Like I said, entity. Yeah, Stepdaddy Johnson said entity. It's deep. There's generational spirits, right? And so I've had to do my own due diligence in making sure that my connection is pure. Because a lot of your stubbornness, a lot of your rebellion comes from a spirit. It's not just, I'm just naturally rebellious. No, you're dealing with an entity within you and you don't even know it. That's why you like that. Not because your family, your daddy, your mama, no, there's a spirit that you have to cast out, that you have not gotten free from. Sometimes it's not a spirit. I'm not saying it's always a spirit. Sometimes it is. And we need to stop hiding under a rock and acting like nothing's happening. Because I'll tell you what, being under the oppression of a spirit is not fun. It's miserable. So family, let's be aware. Let's be aware. Okay? Let's move in awareness. All right, let me I see YouTube user, thank you so much. CJ Ward, thank you. NJHS2IL, thank you so much. And Bobby, I appreciate you guys for giving on the YouTube channel tonight. Thank you for those who gave to the Cash App and supported me tonight. I appreciate you for your support. You know, I appreciate it, y'all. I want to make sure I thank you guys for supporting this. What I don't even know what we call this, but this, right? Minnesota Samson says, me, love, I've been celebrating for 5 to 7 years and I hear all the messages and I appreciate it. Thank you. That's amazing. I love to see men that be moving in that way. Love to see it. I love to see. I think it's so attractive when a man is able to be disciplined in that area. We see so many men that are not and wearing it like a badge of honor. It's like, no, you're in bondage. You're not free because you sleeping with everybody you see. That's not freedom. It's not freedom when you just sleeping with people that mean nothing to you. That's not freedom. That's bondage. When you can say no in any area, whether it be food or whether it be women, that's strength. That's real strength. Me eating whatever I want requires no discipline. Me sticking to a diet requires discipline. Right? So that's that. All right, family. I love you guys. I'm gonna turn on this game and see what's going on with the Knicks. Y'all have a great evening. I hope this was edifying to you guys. Again, thank you guys for your support. And if you have not yet already, subscribe to the channel, hit the follow button, hit the like button. Let's just get this out, family. This is an important message. This is not just a whatever type of message. So I really do hope that it gets to whoever it gets to, right? All right. I love y'all. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys soon.